Could we do biology today, please?
Okay. And we were doing chemistry last class, right?
Yeah.
Biology, what were we doing?
I think we finished the respiratory system.
Respiratory system. Okay. So we finished.
Yeah, but we finished it.
Okay. So what to do with today then? Biology.
Could we start with classification and evolution, please?
Classification of?
Classification and evolution.
Classification and evolution. Okay. So we'll start with classification first. What do you understand by the term classification?
Ordering something.
Ordering something. Okay. And why do you need to order them?
Just to make it easier to see.
Making easier to see. Okay.
What species has what.
Okay. Not going into too much of technical terms. We'll see first the simple ones. Okay. Now, if in a box I give you vegetables, fruits, few nuts, few green leafy vegetables and all, how are you going to sort it out? It is mixed. Everything. Yeah.
There are different types of food.
Sorry?
There are different types of food.
Okay. So basically they are all food. Okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how are you going to classify this food? In a basket, I've given you few fruits, few vegetables. I've mixed few green leafy vegetables, few nuts are there, and everything is mixed in that basket. So how are you going to classify? First, you told me they all belong to food. Okay. Next.
what type of food they
What
are.
type of food? Okay, so what type of food can you tell me from that basket? Okay, if
So you have like healthy foods.
Foods.
okay, we won't go that way. We will see this way. We have vegetables, right? We have fruit,
Yeah.
and I said I have few nuts, right? Now, in vegetable,
Yeah.
I also said I have some green leafy vegetables, right? So that I can put it
Yeah.
green leafy vegetables. I have some, um, say, ground vegetables in the sense the roots like carrots, beets, potatoes, right? So now there
Yeah.
are various types of those. There are some capsicum, tomatoes, there also. So vegetables again they are classified into many types. Now fruits, I can classify fruits also in different terms, right? I can classify citrus fruits in one side. I can classify the normal fruits in one side. Citrus fruits I get lemon, right? Lemon, oranges. So they all come under citrus fruits. Nuts, if I need to classify, how will I classify? I have some dry nuts, I have some wet nuts also. Okay, some which are ready to use, ready to eat, some needs some kind of roasting. So we can divide that way, right? So this way,
Yeah.
it is very easy to us to understand and to classify. And suddenly if I want one particular vegetable, I can easily get that from that slot, right? So this is classification, and this is why we need classification, because it makes our work more simpler. Okay, this is a simple concept. Now let's come to the biological terms. Now there are so many biological species, right? If I tell you animals, there are a lot of animals in a zoo. Now animals, they range from a dinosaur. Dinosaur is also an animal, right? A mouse is
Yeah.
also an animal. So now people will be confused as which animal we are talking about. There are so many varieties of animals and we cannot judge what type they are. So what they did is this biological species concept, that means the species that contains all organisms which are capable of breeding together to produce living fertile offspring. So how are they dividing it? Please. Capable of breeding together to produce living and fertile offspring. So now classification is a process of sorting these living things into groups. Okay, so what do they contain? The hierarchy, the classification hierarchy, they contain with the starting is the domain, then comes the kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Okay, so the first one is the domain. Then comes the kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and the species. Now these classifications, they are constantly updated because there are new methods which are discovered to infer relationships. Okay. Okay, because sometimes we do cross breeding also, right, in animals as well as in plants. That time they kind of change this classification. Sometimes we do DNA sequencing in animals, sometimes we do the C comparisons in animals, so that also helps us to classify. That means it gets updated now and then. Okay, so finish writing this and then we'll move ahead.
Done.
So, not going into detail about the other things, I mean the phylum, class, order, we are going to see the classification of kingdom. Okay, so then they are classified into Animalia, Plantae, Fungi, Protista, Prokaryote. Okay, now what are animals? If further we need to see this, animals are either eukaryotic or they are multicellular, they are heterotrophic and usually able to move around. Plantae, again they are eukaryotic.
What's heterotrophic?
What is heterotrophic? You tell me. Heterotrophic. There are two terms, heterotrophic and autotrophic.
Do they is it animals that eat other animals and plants?
Okay. Now animals and humans, they both come under heterotrophic. Now what we do for heterotrophic is, we search for a food, right? We eat plants,
Yeah.
animals, we are heterotrophic. Now plants, they are eutrophic, they are autotrophic. That means they prepare their own food.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the difference between heterotrophic and autotrophic. Fungi. Have you heard about fungi?
Yeah.
Now fungi are saprophytic. Now what's a saprophytic?
I have no clue.
Okay. They depend upon another animal for their food. They are saprophytes. Fine?
Okay. Yeah.
They have a chitin. So this is a general information about the kingdom: Animalia, Plantae, Fungi, Protista, and Prokaryotic.
Yep, done it.
Done?
Yeah.
This is just the classification of kingdom which we see. Now the binomial naming system, okay, generally are by their genus and the species. Okay, always the binomial nomenclature is done with the genus and species, and the study of evolutionary relationships between organisms is called phylogeny. Between organisms. Okay, it is phylogeny. Tell me, I'll move on to the next word.
Yep.
Okay, now something known as a phylogeny. So I'll draw that diagram for you.
I'm just going to go to the toilet quickly.
Yeah, sure.
One minute.
Yeah, please.
Hi, I'm back.
So this is a phylogenetic diagram. Now, why this diagram is like this? The branch tips. Branches, the main tip here. Okay, this branch tip represents species at the end of their specific lineage. Okay, they have branching points representing a common ancestor. What is this? Monkey, baboon, orangutan, chimpanzee, human. Do they have something in common?
Yes.
They have the common ancestor, right? And this tells us which is very much related. So chimpanzee is very much related to human. Orangutan is related, I mean, similar to chimpanzee, baboon, and then the monkey. Okay, this shows us the closer evolutionary relationship if we compare from human. Okay, so this is known as the phylogenetic diagram. So finish drawing this and then tell me. I'll start with natural selection.
Wait, sorry, what's the diagram called?
Phylogenetic diagram. I just told you what is phylogeny is. That is a study of evolutionary relationships. And this
Yeah.
phylogenetic diagram.
Yep, done it.
Okay. Fine. We'll start with natural selection. Now, what is natural selection? Okay. Now, there are different, how to say, okay, have you heard about the term survival of the fittest?
Yeah.
Okay, what does it mean?
So it's like only like the fastest or like strongest people could survive.
Okay, the fastest, the strongest who can survive, they can fit in that place, right? Like that, we have certain terms like predation. What does
Only
predation means? What does predation means? What do you mean by predation?
if they're predators.
Predators. That means the bigger ones attacking the smaller ones. Okay. Then we have disease, common disease, and there is also competition. When we have these three factors, that is predation, disease, and competition, means that not all individuals within a population survive to get a chance to reproduce, right? If predation is happening very frequently, if there is disease which is spreading rapidly, and if there is a lot of competition, can we see more of the prodigy, the next generation? Did you understand my question?
No.
No. Let me give you an example. Okay, we'll take a small plot of land, and here I have few rats, cats, dogs. Okay, I have three animals residing in this area. Now, dogs and cats, they must be having a tough competition to survive here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there is competition over here.
Yeah.
Now, because of this rats, these dogs and cats have got some kind of disease. Say this way. Okay, what I'm doing here is I'm using all the three factors over here to explain it to you. Okay, but these are all individual factors. Clear? So what I was first point, dogs and cats have a competition. Due to this rats, these cats and dogs have got a disease, and these cats, they predate on these rats because they need to survive. So there is predation. Okay. Now I am coming after a gap of say 1 month. Okay. I'm visiting this place after a gap of 1 month. will I be able to see the young ones of the rats, young one of the cats, and young one of the dogs?
Probably not.
Why no?
Because of the prediction, the rats would have gone, cats, and because of the competition and the disease would have killed the remaining one.
Yes, so what is happening here is because of these individuals or these species here, they cannot survive and they do not get another chance to reproduce. Okay, that is these factors. Okay, that means predation, disease, and competition means that not all individuals within a population survive to get a chance to reproduce. Okay, now this differential survival and reproduction is the process by which natural selection acts. Okay, the differential survival and reproduction. Okay, so this is natural selection over here.
Yep.
Okay. Now there is something known as genetic variation. Okay. What is genetic variation?
Differentiation of genes. So like only the best of genes passed on.
Yes, the best of genes which has been passed down. Now, when I'm talking about genetic variation within a population, okay, within a population, what we see is they create intra-specific competition. Intra-specific competition. Okay, what is intra-specific competition?
Is it competition within
Within the same species, right? Within the same species, because here what we see is genetic variation. That means the best of the genes which is coming out, and this is going to create a competition within the intra-specific. Now, the organisms with phenotypes that provides a selective advantage, that means the best variation, the best genes which have come, they are likely to survive and reproduce, right? The ones which are weak, they won't be able to survive, nor they will be able to reproduce. But the ones with the phenotypes, what is phenotypes?
Sorry?
What is phenotypes?
Characteristics.
What kind of characteristics?
Like ones you can see, like if
If
they've
they've
got
got
like
like
scales or
scales or
long
long
tail or
tail or
short
short
tail.
tail.
Yes, the physical appearance, right? The physical type variation. So they have a higher chance of surviving and reproducing. Okay, that means they can pass their favorable alleles to the next generation. Now, because of this, we see that the proportional of individuals with the favorable allele will increase in the next generation. Okay, this favorable allele, the next generation will increase. And this is termed as evolution by natural selection.
Finish.
You're done?
Yeah.
We'll see evolution now. Now, what is evolution? Evolution is the change in allele frequencies in a population over time. Okay? Change in allele frequencies in a population over time. Did you understand the sentence?
No.
No. Okay. I'll tell you one example. Okay. Now giraffes. Can you describe me a giraffe? If I tell you to describe me a giraffe, how will you describe me?
They
They
have
have
really
really
long
long
necks.
necks.
Okay.
They're like a browny
Browny
yellow
yellow
color,
color,
like their
like their
fur.
fur.
Okay.
Uh, they have long
Long
tails.
tails.
They have long tails.
They're quite big.
Okay. The first thing what you told me is about their neck, right? If
Yeah.
I say giraffes, they have this long necks, right? They have this long necks. But the truth is that this is a part of the evolution. If you see, if you Google it, you will find giraffe fur very much the same as that, like that of horses. Because horses, when we compared, they were as much as similar to some donkeys, very small stuffs, right? And giraffes were
Yeah.
similar to that of the horses with very short necks and all. But during the time, how the time passed by, evolution, because of evolution, these giraffe had long necks. Why did they have long necks now?
Was it to reach like
Like
the
the
leaves at
leaves
the
at the
top of
top of
the
the
tall
tall
trees?
trees.
Okay.
Like to get food.
Why? But what is the reason?
Well, the shorter, like
Like
neck
neck
giraffes
giraffes
would be
would
able
be
to
able to
reach
reach
their
their
food
food
sometimes.
sometimes.
Okay, I'll tell you. Now, what happened was giraffes and other animals, when they were surviving, okay, in the forest, they were feeding on trees which were reachable to their heights, right? But as they moved on, they were not stuck in one particular place. They had to move on, right? Because of water, because of climate. They had to move on from one place to the other. And when they started moving on, when they moved to the evergreen forest, there they found that all the trees, they were all quite large and they were quite small and they had to reach out for the leaves. So extending their neck slowly by slowly, because all the leaves were on very high, they started forming this thing that their necks were always held in an upright position. Okay, this way what happened is their allele starts changing. So the next generation, their allele grew a little bit. The next generation, the allele grew a bit. And finally, what we get is giraffes with long necks. So this is evolution. That means change in allele frequencies in a population. What population I am talking about here is a giraffe, right? And there is a allele frequency changing over here. So this is evolution. Now clear with it?
Yeah.
Now, an adaptation, we'll see what is an adaptation. Adaptation is a trait that enhances survival in the habitat. Okay, adaptation is a trait that enhances survival in a habitat. The survival in a particular habitat or particular area. So what are these adaptations? How can they survive? First they have is a anatomical adaptation. Now, what is anatomical adaptation means? That means with regard to their structural features. Example, if I'm talking about roots with large surface area. Then I have behavioral adaptation. Hibernation. Then I have physiological adaptation. Okay, so these are the different types of adaptation.
Done it.
You're done?
Mm-hmm.
Now coming to convergent evolution. What is convergent evolution? Now this evolution occurs when organisms that live in similar conditions are subject to the same selection pressures, resulting in similar adaptations. Organisms that live in similar conditions resulting in similar adaptations. Now what does this mean? I'll tell you. Okay. Now let's take an example of fish. Okay. I'll take a sea, and in that sea there are number of fishes, right? Variety of fishes there. So now they all live in similar condition. What similar condition do fish live?
Just the water in the ocean.
Water. Okay, they all are living in a same water. So this is a similar condition. Subject to same selection pressure. Okay, now what do these fish feed on?
Algae,
Okay,
little microorganisms
Microorganisms
and
and
plants,
plants,
other
other
little
little
fish.
fish.
plants, other fishes, right? Now, if they have a competition, do these fish decide to leave, some of the fish decide to leave water and come on the land?
No.
No. What do they do?
Uh, do they
They
just
just
reproduce?
They move on from one particular place to another particular place, or if they do not have any other choice, if we are talking about the smaller fishes, they do not have any choice, they have to stay in that place only, right? That means they
Yeah.
still there in the similar adaptation, right? Either they can move one place. If he is quite large, C is quite large, right? So from one place they can move on to the another place because they feel a shortage of plants and fishes over there, so they can move on to the other place. But still they are still surviving on the same adaptation. So this is called as convergent evolution, where one cannot move out from that particular adaptation. An example I gave you is a fish.
Done.
Done?
Yeah.
Okay. Next we'll see is, okay, now the evidence. Now the evidence for the theory of natural selection, whatever we have done till here, from natural selection to this convergent variation, convergent evolution, okay, they all come from the fossil record and biological molecules which include mDNA, because we were not there in that period, right?
Yeah.
How do we get these news? How do we get the proof is, that is the evidence, proof or the evidence for the theory of natural selection comes from the fossil record mDNA, and evolution by natural selection has resulted in antibiotic resistant bacteria and pesticide resistance in insects.
Yeah.
So we'll end up over here, okay, sir, okay, for today.
Yeah.
To attend. There is only one small topic left on this, that is a variation, that we'll do it in our next class. Yeah?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
You are currently the only